This is Good Morning Jacksonville.
Well, this morning, heavy rain is expected to lead to a very ugly commute. Get ready for that, folks. Our storm experts say around 7, it will really start to come down in about 30 minutes.
Yeah, and that rain's going to continue to pick up as we head through the rest of the day. But don't you worry. We are on your side to make sure that you know everything you need to before you head out the door this morning. So the commute to work and then the commute home from work today will likely be a little bit dicey. In a moment, Katie Jeffries is going to have the most updated look at your traffic this morning.
But first, we have got to check in with your storm expert meteorologist, Mike Prangley.
All right, it's going to get better. We just got to get through today and be safe on the roads. Let's go right to radar. We're starting to see some of the heavy rain move to the northeast now. So not just Keystone and Palatka getting in on some of the heavier rain. St. Augustine now moving up into St. John's, Nocatee. Duval right now has got that brief break in the rain, but don't let that fool you. You need your umbrellas there with more rain on the way as we head toward 7 o'clock and then up toward southeast Georgia, Brunswick. You'll see some of the heavier rain as we head toward 8 a.m. Now, the big thing we're watching for today, it's about the rain, the street flooding, the hydroplaning. Yes, still watching the rivers as well. That could have a slow rise as we head into the weekend. Notice the flood watch encompasses the entire area. Now, as we look at the big picture, it does look like rainfall amounts, if there is good news, would be heaviest in Central Florida, but this is the area also to watch for isolated tornadoes. Yes, we'll have that squall line forecast coming up, but first, Katie Jeffries in the ViStar Credit.
Second busiest travel day of the year. We're in the ViStar Credit Union Traffic Center. Taking a look over here towards JTB. Now on that eastbound side near Kernan, it's hard to see because it's right kind of behind this sign. There is a crash over there in the right shoulder, and we've seen a steady stream of crashes coming in since early this morning when that rain moved in. Now you're seeing some heavy delays on 295 northbound here, but they should start getting better because they've been able to clear the crash that was blocking one left lane up there near New Kings Road. So that should start to get a little bit better throughout the morning. Also 295 southbound here at 103rd Street. Look out for a right shoulder there blocked by a crash. But again, crashes the story of the morning as well as the rain, especially if you're traveling southbound. So please be careful. And Cam is out there talking about our holiday travel. Like I said, second busiest day of the year. So our road warrior this morning, Cam, how's it looking?
Katie, good morning. Right now we're traveling along the Hart Expressway. Traffic isn't much of a concern, but as you mentioned, the rain is definitely causing an impact on the morning commute. I can tell you earlier in the 5 o'clock and 5:30 hour, we were in Oakleaf and the rain was coming down. Here in downtown Jacksonville, it's not looking too bad, but you can still see the roads here are wet and slick. Now, as far as holiday travel is concerned, we know that about 102 million people will be traveling on the roads this year. That's the highest for the end of the year since 2001. And here in Florida, Sunshine State, we know about 5 million people will be hitting the roads. Now, according to AAA, most road travelers will be paying about 30 cents less per gallon for the end of the year holiday and 5 cents less than last year. Now, we also know many travelers will be hitting the friendly skies this weekend and as well. And then for a look at airline travel, we're going to continue our team coverage and send things over to Lana Harris. Lana, good morning.
Good morning, and stay safe out there because this is just what we need, right? A major storm to make airport travel that much more difficult, as if the airport isn't already difficult enough. Fortunately, according to the Federal Aviation Administration, there doesn't seem to be any flight delays in any of the major airports across the U.S. right now, but that is very likely to change. Most of the country is going to be hit by a big storm that's only going to get worse tonight and tomorrow. So your best bet is to leave early today if you can. The conditions won't get any better until the weekend, but then you'll run into your next problem. According to the AAA, the busiest days to fly this season are going to be on Saturday, the 22nd, the 23rd, and then on the 26th. So after you wait out the storm, you'll be fighting off the crowds. As you can probably imagine, the lightest travel days in the Christmas holiday are Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So if you really want to get ahead of the ball here, as soon as you open up those presents, get a to-go plate and let your family know you've got to go because you love them, but not enough to fight those crowds. Am I right?
Yeah, or you could stay, if you really love them, you could stay a little bit longer and then the crowds will be gone.
You know you're going to be tired of them by then though, right? Right? I mean,
it depends on how long
Lana's
you're with
being
them.
very honest this morning. Thanks for that.
And who all's there.
Hey, I'm on your side with the honesty.
We appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Lana. 6:34 is your time, and it's time for your Fast Lane this morning. The population boom continues in Florida. The country's third most populous state has grown by more than 300,000 people in the past year. That's according to census reports, and nearly 2.5 million since the beginning of the decade. About half of the new residents are from other parts of the U.S., the other half from other countries. Well, SpaceX is hoping that the third time's a charm today for their final rocket launch of the year. I'm not sure if they checked the weather or not, but they've been trying to send out an Air Force satellite into orbit since Tuesday. Today's launch window opens at 9:03 this morning. If it happens, we'll bring it to you live on air and online. However, they're saying that there's only a 20% chance of that launching. Developing this morning in Nassau County, volunteer fire chief Jason Wall has been arrested and he's charged now with grand theft.
Yeah, he's accused of pocketing $23,000. Deputies say the investigation began when the department's other co-treasurer reported that theft. Well, Facebook is under fire once again, folks. The New York Times reported the social media giant shared much more of your personal information with some companies than it previously admitted. They claim Facebook allowed Microsoft, Netflix, and Spotify to read users' private messages, see their friends list without consent, and obtain contact information. And in Jacksonville, beach equipment has been moved to the site of the future Margaritaville Resort. They will be testing soil ahead of the start of construction. Now, building is set to start once those tests are completed. Jacksonville Beach is still in the process of approving permits, but those are expected to be approved within the next 30 days or so.
Let's get an update now from your Crime Alert Center. A Jacksonville man accused of murdering a woman in a McDonald's drive-thru pleading not guilty. Police say Rashid Kareem killed Jamie Roque while she was sitting in the drive-thru at the McDonald's on Bay Meadows back in August. Now, Roque was the mother of 3 boys, and Kareem is expected back in court on January 2nd. Now to a bizarre story out of Union County. Deputies found skeletal remains inside a Mercedes-Benz deep in the woods. They found it near State Road 238 last night near Lake Butler. And it turns out the car was reported stolen in August of last year. Deputies say the person inside the car was a 28-year-old who'd been reported missing last year as well. So far, no foul play is suspected. 8 months after a teenager was nearly abducted while jogging in her neighborhood, a suspect has finally been arrested. Now, the Clay County Sheriff's Office says there could potentially be other victims out there. Deputies say 36-year-old John Keene pulled a gun on a 16-year-old girl back in April while she was jogging in Eagle Harbor and then tried to get her in his truck. The Clay County Sheriff's Office wants to hear from anyone who had any suspicious interactions with Keene. Now, if you know anything that could help solve these or any other crimes out there, please call Crime Stoppers at the number on your screen.
Thanks for that, Katie. Your time is about 6:38. Well, this morning, Forever 21 is being called out for advertising a holiday sweater inspired by popular film Black Panther. This seems to have a lot of folks talking. Let's check out those top trending stories. So here's the photo that was tweeted out with a white male model sporting Black Panther salute Wakanda Forever. Critics of the photo say a person of color should have been wearing the sweater, and after much outrage online, the company has since removed the tweet and the advertisement.
What do I owe you?
Looks like you paid online.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
All right, we all know that line, and I love this commercial. Actor Macaulay Culkin recreating a bunch of iconic scenes from Home Alone with a little high-tech twist. Now, it's a new commercial for Google Assistant, and here's the buzz. In Google's version of the story, Kevin scares the robbers away with help from a robo-vacuum and voice-activated alarm system. But it seems like a lot of people online are saying, hey, I would still prefer the blowtorch method. I have to say Home Alone, still one of my favorite Christmas movies. The second one, though, not the first or the third, and then after that, I don't know what happened. All right, let's check it with Mike for a check of that forecast.
Yes, I'm a big Home Alone fan, Brooks. And hey, we take a look at this morning, and here comes the rain. Yeah, really spreading in from southwest to northeast. And what I'm looking at is the latest from the Storm Prediction Center, and they're putting out some mesoscale discussions for severe weather, but that's much farther to the south. So let's look at the latest from our friends in Oklahoma. And as we take a look, it still looks like if you're traveling to Orlando, Tampa, Interstate 4 South, that's the highest risk of severe weather today. Yes, we're on the fringes with a slight risk, maybe southern St. Johns, Putnam, and Flagler County. But at this time, it looks like isolated strong storm with gusts of 40 to 50 miles per hour will be our main threat. The most updated rainfall map has just come in, and I think this is some good news for our area rivers. Still looks like the heaviest rain where those biggest thunderstorms will be farther south toward I-4, but still a very rainy day, some rough travel, on average 1 to 2 inches of rain. There will be some locally heavier amounts in spots. So it's about staying safe, because once we get through this rainy day, much better travel on the way Friday and into the weekend. Now let's get to Katie Jeffries, VyStar Credit Union Traffic Center.
Thank you, Mike. So if you are headed out the door, it is the second busiest travel day of the year, and you're headed south. Please be extra careful because you're going to see maybe blinding rain, severe storms, especially for those of you on I-4 and south. So I-75 leading into Tampa, as well as those of you going into Orlando. Please be very careful. I mean, think about all the construction on I-4. The last thing you want is blinding rain plus other drivers plus construction. So please be careful. Maybe consider going down tomorrow. Call your parents or grandparents and let them know that you're going to take the safe route and you're going to drive down tomorrow. If you're traveling north or eastbound on I-10, so I-10, I-75, or I-95 northbound, it is going to be rainy. You could have some spots where you hit some really heavy rain. Hydroplaning definitely a risk, but not as bad as if you were traveling southbound. So please be careful out there. It's just going to be a messy travel day, especially if you're headed towards the airport. Give yourself extra time because those security lines to get through are probably going to be longer than they normally are because so many people are traveling right now. Quick look over here towards 295 and New Kings Road. That left lane is open, but you still have two road rangers here in the shoulder. So remember, move over law applies to them. Move over and slow down.
Thanks for that, Katie. It's now 41 minutes past the hour. So if you're trying to find that perfect, memorable gift this year, after the break, we're going to tell you which ones are bound to wow and which gifts will likely be forgotten in about a year or so. And if you're headed across the country this holiday, we're going to let you know what you can expect in terms of weather and delays. Get ready for that.
And looking for something to watch tonight on ABC, A Charlie Brown Christmas. And then at 9, it's the Great American Baking Show, Holiday Edition. After that, be sure to stick around for First Coast News at 11.